Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of First Look. And in this edition of First Look, I'll be doing First Look UFC 289, Nunes versus Aldana. And yeah, I'm gonna run through these picks. Well, not these picks, these fights, and me just generally analyzing them and kind of just seeing how I feel these fights going to go without picking a fighter. Me beating around the bush and maybe doing some bets or potential bets for the this card. So the picks gonna be the quick picks in the 4 card fight prediction. So y'all tune into those. If you just don't want to dig through the quick picks to find the picks, then you can just watch the 4 card fight prediction video. That's gonna come out probably. Well, it's a whole different fight, so this probably might be 2 weeks from now when I'll actually post those picks. But yeah. But you know what I'm trying to say, or you? I think you know what I'm trying to say, or you don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, first fight on the card, we got in the light heavyweight division, we got Chris Dawkins versus Khalil Roundtree, and I'll just give you a pick right here. Going with Khalil Roundtree. But is this my final pick? It's not. But I would say I can't really see any other way but to lean to Khalil Roundtree. Chris Dawkins ain't really got no wrestling game like that, or has not shown no wrestling game. Supposed to have BJJ, ain't really show that, but Khalil Roundtree is a weird guy, and he could be the guy that let somebody break the mold and get a win, but or be the first black guy Chris Dawkins could beat. But as we know, Chris Dawkins struggles with black men for whatever reason. A police that struggles to beat black man. I guess he only beats them when he has a gun in their arm or something. No racial. I'm just trying to make jokes out here. If you're offended, yeah, just be offended. But yeah, I'm saying it's a track where you got to look at it. You got to study the tracks, and the tracks show that Chris Dawkins struggles with heavy-handed black men, and he has failed every single time, at least in the UFC or at least at a relevant level. Even got knocked up by a mediocre, sloppy black heavyweight. I know he probably might have beat 1 or 2 random black guys, but for the most part, he probably like 2-5 against them, and maybe 2-6 at this point. He only got what 6 losses. Anywho, I'm talking too much, but I think in this looking good here. And another thing, not just to look at Chris Dawkins' record against black men, but heavyweights dropping the light heavyweight don't have the best success. Like especially you're like a mediocre heavyweight. If you're like, oh, I'm Daniel Cormier, you're gonna do well at light heavyweight. Or you're like, oh, I'm Stevie Ochick. If I'm Stevie Ochick light, like I'm real good and stuff, fast, real clean box and whatnot, and I'm actually good championship caliber, and I drop down light heavyweight, I'll be championship caliber at light heavyweight. But you kind of like a mediocre falling off light heavyweight. You're a falling off heavyweight trying to revive your career by dropping weight to light heavyweight. It's like a recipe for disaster. It's like suicide dropping down to 205. And I've seen over the years many guys drop down to light heavyweight trying to reinvent their career, and it's just not a path for success. And now Chris Dawkins coming down there fighting a heavy hitting fighter in Khalil Roundtree. It's not like he's some super good wrestler or some super good grappler or even a notable guy who has used it to get victories in UFC. He's not, so it's gonna be a striking affair. He's gonna come down. He's gonna have less. Had to cut weight, be more chinny than he was at heavyweight, because now you're cutting weight and you got that moisture in your brain. You'll be slower. You fight him guys that fast, and Khalil Roundtree hits like a heavyweight, so he's faster than you. He hits like a heavyweight. I think this is a recipe for a first round knockout for Dawkins. Dawkins getting knocked out in the first round. Khalil Roundtree, so I think in the distance is good here, or maybe Dawkins pulls off a thing and just grapples him up and stops him. But I think Khalil Roundtree KO is pretty safe here. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about this one anymore, because like again, these ain't even like the easiest final bet. Like, oh, I gotta make these bets. This is me just scanning through the fight. So around, I said KO, general KO, if you kind of like nervous about it a little bit, but Roundtree KO, I feel is about a pretty safe bet here, based on the history over like a decade now of seeing that the history of mediocre heavyweights dropping down to light heavyweight is not a recipe for success at all. You better off going to PFL than draining yourself to make light heavyweight. Maybe you could cut the light heavyweight and go to PFL and fight in light heavyweight division, but drain yourself in UFC to go to light heavyweight, terrible decision. And it's not you the lucky one. Hey, you might get lucky and win this one, but it ain't going much further than that. For the most part. Anyway, next one we got in the middleweight division, we got Nasruddin Imavov versus Chris Curtis. And I think this one got decision written all over it. If you're going with Chris Curtis, maybe go with just general KO. Like you going Chris Curtis, because I feel like his only path to victory is KO. And hey, Imavo could possibly get a KO over Chris Curtis or possibly get an end of distance. You go in the distance. Biden says has an end of decision. I think this one has a decision written over it, to be honest. Imavo hasn't been finished. Chris Curtis has been finished a couple times, like in PFL, but in the UFC has not been finished. So this one likely going to decision. Over is in decision, looking good here. But if you're really feeling Chris Curtis, I think you gotta go Chris Curtis in the distance because he has yet to win a fight. Well, he has won one fight over a grappler, pure grappler, but a full rounded fighter that's gonna stick and move and be long and throw up volume. Chris Curtis is gonna need a knockout, in my opinion, to win a decision, in my opinion. So he can win the fight, but I think he's only gonna be in the distance if he wins. But I'm not saying that happen. I think it's gonna be like a decision fight. So yeah. So basically I just said I'm picking Imamo. But hey, not my final pick, but likely will be my final pick. But this is not a video about me making final picks at all. At all. Ayman Zahabi versus Ari Queeling. I'm feeling more decision overs with this one. Next one. Matt Schnell versus David Dvorak at flyweight. I feel like this one has in the distance potential. I feel like Schnell ain't got no real chance, so Dvorak potentially can knock him out, even though he's not a finisher. And Schnell is a pretty good grappler when he is able to get it going, so he could potentially get a sub. So in the distance, could look good here. But all in all, I don't know. Next one, I ain't really feeling where I'm with this one just yet. I'm not really feeling which way this one gonna go as far as whether the decision's the best play or in the distance the best play, because the finishes are definitely on the table here for sure. But then again, Dvorak did go take Manuel Kopp's power. You know, he held up pretty well. Pretty well-rounded guy as well. Ain't seem to have no real issues with the grappling, so. But again, Chanel's chin is not reliable, even though Dvorak ain't no knockout puncher. Matter of fact, I would say over is the decision looking good here. Over is the decision good. Dvorak ain't no finisher. Snell's a good well-rounded guy, and it's not like Dvorak's a guy easy to finish. Dvorak ain't a guy easy to finish, and Dvorak ain't a guy no power. I feel like Dvorak was gonna win by finish, it would be by knockout, and he's not really a knock. Or if Chanel's gonna lose, I feel it's gonna be by knockout, and Dvorak ain't really no big puncher, so most likely a decision type fight there. But I wouldn't go full on decision. I'd probably go overs. Might even go as far as over 2.5, but I feel like over 1.5 should be pretty safe in that one. Next one we got in featherweight division, we got Blake Builder versus Kyle Nelson. And I feel like in the distance, I feel like Kyle Nelson can win by knockout. I feel like Blake Builder could win by sub here. So in the distance, looking good for this one. Maybe if over 1.5 is juicy enough, I feel like this one could end in the second round. I feel like this is the first round in the fight. I feel like it's the second or third round in the fight. So over 1.5 could be pretty good. Ain't bet the house or ain't bet half the house, ain't bet quarter of the house, ain't bet 10% of the house, but a good little put a change on that one if the value's there. But I think in the distance is good. I think, yeah, in the distance is probably the best bet for this one. Over 1.5, maybe in the distance. I think second, third round like it be finished. So over 1.5 should be pretty good. Maybe the best bet for this one. Then if you're going, if subs at a good value, I would go put a Builder sub on there. I think Nelson ain't get no sub. He only get a knockout. Builder could potentially get a knockout, but I think it's most likely gonna be sub from him. So Builder sub, that kind of give you like I'm leaning Builder right now. Next one we got in the women's strawweight division, we got Dinah Belvita or Dinah Velveeta Cheese versus Maria Oliveira. And this one really got decision written all over. Maria Oliveira got sleepover pillow punches. And Dinah Belvita, she got her eyes on man of MMA Twitter and well the youngest, you know, the young guns in MMA. Like I haven't really been seeing her on Twitter like that. I don't interact with her on Twitter, but I definitely see her on Twitter. You know, just being acting like a regular girl. I mean, she is a regular girl at the end of the day. She ain't no, oh my God, I'm some warrior queen or nothing. She just a regular woman who does MMA. Like she gonna do a little flirting online with somebody, little man on MMA, and you know these little fighters and whatnot. So where am I going with this is that I don't know if her head is fully in the game just yet. So this is definitely a fight where Balbita, I feel like she should win. Am I picking her? No. I feel like just yet, I don't know. I don't know who I'm picking. I wish I could say this scratch fight all. I don't trust Maria Oliveira and I don't trust Belbita. But I do feel like Donna Belbita has shown to be the better fighter, at least so far in her career between these two. But am I picking her? Not most likely it's gonna be her, but am I don't know. I might look at this fight a little bit more, look at some fights like, actually Oliveira got this. But right now, I don't know. But either way, what I'm saying is that both of these women don't really got much power, much finishing ability, so this is likely gonna be a decision. And Oliveira went, what's her name? What's her name? She went like what 3 rounds with Baby Shark or Tiny Shark or whatever her name is. who's a much better BJJ grappler than Belbita by far, without a doubt. That's not even a question, not even a debate. So I feel like Belbita maybe chance to finish might be have been in the grappling department, but again, she has been in with a much better grappler Oliveira has. So she should be able to go with decision. I mean, she should be able to, without doubt, be able to fend off her submission or her grappling. So decision looking like a lock pick here, regardless of who wins. So whoever wins is gonna be a decision. So decision is the lock pick, and that's about all I can say for this matchup right now. So decision looking real juicy. As far as it's not looking juicy as far as value. I feel like the value that's probably like minus 300 or something. But as far as likelihood, it's very juicy to hit. That's all I'm saying. It's very likely to hit. It's a big hoop. It ain't the Atlantic Ocean, but it's probably a good sized lake. Next one we got in the flyweight division. We got women's flyweight division. We got Jasmine Jazzy Duvickas versus Miranda Maverick. And this is yet another fight where looking like decision. I feel like Jasmine Jazzy Duvickas can low key pull off an upset here. Am I picking her? No, but low key she looking juicy for an upset. Low key. In Maverick, she can even finish the same woman that she finished a couple years ago. So Maverick hasn't really been showing that finish. Matter of fact, has she really even finished anyone in the UFC yet? I don't think she's really been a finisher in the UFC yet. And Jasmine Jazzy Duvickas is very game. And she was able to go, 3 rounds with Natalia Silva. So she's tough. She ain't no scrub. She's tough enough. She's skilled enough. She's well-rounded enough to make this a good fight. Maverick, without doubt, is the better wrestler. But a lot of times she doesn't use her wrestling as much as she should. So, again, that opens opportunities for her to get upset by not, fighting to her strengths or doing what she needs to do. But I think regardless of the way this fight goes, it's going to be decision. Jazzy Duvickas ain't submitting Maverick. Duvickas ain't really shown no, Jazzy Duvickas ain't shown no real finishing ability. So, Maverick has shown finishing ability, but in UFC, mostly would have been by a cut. So, Maverick looking like a decisionator in this one. Duvickas looking like a decisionator in this one. So, a smaller hoop, but still a pretty big hoop. I would probably say maybe your best bet here is maybe over. Maybe get a little bit comfortable with over 2.5 just in case some little last minute finish happens. So maybe over 2.5 and you get just about the same value a decision. And you cover that spontaneous, this woman got knocked out in the last 10 seconds by a spinning back elbow or something, or spinning heel kick or something, or somebody fell into a submission, got overconfident. Because I don't see this as being like, a dominant finish or no real, she rounded there, knocked her out the first round, or she took her down and ground and pounded her in the first round, or took her down and tapped her out. I think this is going to be, if any finish happens, it's going to be very late in the fight, or it's going to be like a situational thing, not like a case where I just beat you into submission or I just dominated you. It's going to be like, or I landed that perfect strike and she got hurt, or I landed that perfect takedown and then in the perfect position, and then I took advantage of it. It ain't going to be a case like, just a systematic breakdown. It's going to be a case like, it presented itself and I got it. That's why I feel about this one, if a finish is going to happen on either end, especially on Jazzy Duvickas' side. Next one we got in the welterweight division, we got Mike Mayotte versus Adam Fugit. And this one I feel has decision. I mean, I said decision. This one has ended distance written all over it. And I'm not even going to say, over 1.5 is good here. It definitely could be decent here, but I feel like over 1.5 probably has a 30% chance to hit, in my opinion, right now. But I think in the distance has about a 60% chance to hit with this one. 65% chance to hit with this one. Mike Mayotte could finish Fugit. Fugit has been a little bit chinny. I think Mike Mayotte has him covered everywhere, in my opinion. I think he has, Fugit has his striking appearance. I feel like MMA striking and, mixing everything together in the full game. I think Mike Mayotte is the better overall striker, overall grappler. Again, when you put it in the MMA setting, and you got to factor in the full mixed martial arts, not just, we're doing a Muay Thai fight. Fugit's the better fighter, or Fugit should probably have the edge in a Muay Thai fight or kickboxing fight. It was just pure kickboxing. But when you make it an MMA fight, you mix in the threat of takedowns and whatnot. It opens up for, and even in a striking setting, I think Mayotte would be pretty game in that one as well, and would have a chance to win that one as well. It wouldn't be a case of Fugit has a clear advantage. Mike Mayotte could definitely touch his chin in the kickboxing matchup, touch his chin in the boxing matchup, touch his chin wherever he wants to take it. Krav Maga matchup, he could touch his chin. Point fighting karate, he could touch his chin. But yeah. Either way, I think in the distance is looking pretty good here. I would maybe play unders. Overs and decision, I would not play here. I think in the distance is the most likely outcome, regardless of who wins. And again, if you feel a little more comfortable about one side, then maybe put most of your money kind of in the middle within the distance. then maybe you feel a little bit more confident about this fight. Or maybe you locked in, then you could go full on just in the distance for that fight. But I think in the distance the best play for this fight. Next one we got in the featherweight division, we got Dan Ige versus Nate Landwehr. And this one's like a hot and cold because Landwehr really ain't got no striking defense, and he got a big punch, and he's a solid grappler as well. It's not like Landwehr's the guy that's gonna go out there with a wrestling thing on E. So E, I feel like will be the guy who actually might be looking to wrestle more than Landwehr. E Loki the more technical striker, but Landwehr just a dog, and he can make this a dog fight. I feel like Landwehr wins, it's gonna be a decision. Eag's a very tough guy. He has took a lot of damage from a lot of guys, and I don't think been dropped. So Eag's a tank. So yeah, Eag's a tank. I feel like Landwehr is going to be a case of a dog fight where he just outworks him and beats him by like a split decision. Or in case Eag might win by split decision, but I feel like Eag can knock him out and he can sub him. So yeah, but I guess you feeling Landwehr, just go general decision because that's gonna cash either way. Whether you lean Landwehr, he wins, it's probably gonna be by decision. And then there's a chance that definitely Eag can take this to a decision, like Landwehr just being game without making a scrappy fight, and then Eag wins like a split decision or something like that, or wins a decision like because Landwehr just tough enough like that. But as far as Landwehr, I think his only way he's gonna win is by decision. And Eag, he has all the ways to win. So if you playing Eag, maybe you want to be played in the distance on Eag. That's good, but Eag just trying to have the broadest. You want to cover the most space. General decision probably covers the most. But if you're going for a person with the finish, I think Eag's the only one that's going to have the chance to finish it. Like Eag has been in a lot of fights, and he's still sturdy enough. It hasn't really shown to that breakdown yet. And it's not like Lambert, no big puncher or no real technical this, technical that. He's just a scrapper at that. He's skilled, but he's more so definitely fall in the scrapper category. So if Landwehr is going to win, it's likely going to be a decision victory. So general decision, then maybe make some plays on Eag sub or Eag KO or just Eag in the distance and Eag by KO / TKL / sub / DQ. I just call it in the distance. Yeah. Next one we got in the middleweight division, we got Eric Anders versus Marc-Andre Barrault. This is a weird matchup, to be honest. I feel like Anders could potentially knock Barrault out. Where I feel like where Barrault wins, I feel like it's only going to be by decision. So yeah, another matchup, hot and cold matchup. This is a matchup that definitely could go either way. If Anders is on, he could win this one. If Barrault is on, he could win this one. If both are on, it's going to be a split decision. So yeah, matter of fact, it's probably more so leaning decision. But I feel like Anders will be better suited to get a finish here, but I don't think he will. It's probably be a close sport decision, probably gonna be a controversial split decision no matter which way to go. We have seen Anders win close split decision. We have seen Anders lose close split decisions. So it's probably, matter of fact, if they got a tactical decision or a split decision, it's like at plus 1,000. This might be a good chance to play because this fight I feel likely gonna go to a split decision. So overs and split decision looking good here. But finishing wise, I would think Anders has the best chance to finish this fight over Barrault than Barrault has a chance to finish it Anders. So that's my thoughts on that one. Next fight we got in the lightweight division, we got Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. And how I feel about this one right here is this is a very tight matchup. Like I first I was leaning Beneil Dariush, now I'm back in the middle. I feel like it's so easy to say, well, Oliveira lost, he won the belt, he has no motivation now. Go with the guy who who has been wanting to get that moment. Just like Oliveira has been wanting to get that moment to be champion for a long time, and he's got it. Beneil Dariush has been wanting to be champion for a long time. Long time, underrated guy. Always been just as good as the best guys, but has struggled to string wins together. Chin felt him a lot of times. Made some poor fight IQ at times, but for the most part, been a guy that has for a long time been just as good as the best guys out there. Like he's been top tier skill wise for a long time. I would say for at least 5 years, in my opinion. The man has been top tier for at least 5 years, but again, struggled to stay consistent. That's been his issue. Same way with Charles Oliveira. Been elite for a long, long time. Been a killer since man was like early 20s, been a killer. But again, struggled with consistency, struggled with this, struggled with that. Heart was a question at times. But hey, he went on, became a champion with like one official defense, two unofficial defense, well, one official defense and one unofficial defense. And he reached the pinnacle of the sport. Now it's like, how is he going to come back? So it's like, I think in the distance, definitely a good play here because, again, Dariush, I feel like he can win by decision, but I feel like if Dariush is able to get Oliveira on the mat, wear him down, I feel like he could tap him out on the mat. So I'm going to say in the distance. In the distance is the best play. I feel like Oliveira can win by a knockout or a sub, but I don't see Oliveira winning the decision. I think Oliveira's going to go for the finish. Oliveira's a kill or be kill fighter, so it's going to be in the distance. And Dariush, like I said, he's more so a decision fighter, but if Oliveira, starts a weird slow down or something and ends up on the mat, and he kind of gets a little bit demoralized, the fight not going the way, and it's clock on now, I feel like Dariush can tap him out. So maybe just sub. You're gonna play a general pick. Sub might be the best path because I feel like Dariush only path to victory if our finish is gonna be sub. With Oliveira again, highly likely could get a sub like hurt Dariush, then tap him out. So general sub and more so who you like, maybe just play in the distance, or if you're gonna go Dariush straight, or well, money line, or not money line, for prop, then maybe Benil Dariush decision, probably gonna have good value. So maybe a play would be Benil Dariush decision, which would be good value. Then general sub and yeah, Dariush decision, a good play, or maybe a good hedge, and then sub prop, just general sub, like no matter who gets a sub, just play sub. That's probably a good value, probably plus money, and then plus money sub, and then another good one could be in the distance because that will cover if Oliveira gets a knockout, because Oliveira has multiple ways to win, and I think his only way to win will be in this. Oliveira ain't going out there to win the decisions. He's going out there to finish people, finish or be finished. So in the distance, looking like the most likely. That's going to hit the most, going hoop the most times. Sub probably gets you your best value, and it's going to be a high likelihood that it's going to happen for both fighters. So general sub, general in the distance, and maybe Dariush decision. But probably just put a little bit of small coins on there. Dariush, decision probably gonna be probably like plus 300. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. And now onto the main event, we got in the bantamweight division, well, women's bantamweight division. But yeah, with this one, Aldana, Nunes versus women's bantamweight, undisputed women's bantamweight title fight. We got Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. And I think in the distance is pretty good here. In the distance should be pretty good here. And one other note to note is that Aldana would have a better chance, in my opinion, if she was younger, which don't really matter a whole lot. At the end of the day, it's a fight. Two women, two men getting in there and fighting for their livelihood, I guess. And so it's all the time the age thing don't matter, and a lot of times you will try use that as a main thing to make a pick, and it's somebody like, I don't care, I'm 42, I knocked this 25-year-old out, I knocked this 30-year-old out. But eventually, age does ultimately win in the end. Like, it's just the nature of the game. It's just one of the accepted truths of the game. But yeah, I feel like Aldana would have been a more promising dog here if she wasn't like actually older than Amanda Nunes, and she wasn't as one dimensional as she is. She definitely has a chance to catch Amanda Nunes on the feet, but we have seen Holly Holm just take her down and control her on the ground for 5 rounds. I think Amanda Nunes in the same situation could take her down, tap her out. I mean, I don't think Amanda Nunes shouldn't really try to strike her too much, more so to try to just get her to respect her on the feet, and then look to drag her to the mat and probably tap her out. But in the distance, looking good. If Aldana wins, I think it's only gonna be by a flash knockout or something, like Amanda Nunes coming there swinging wild overhand like she does and stuff, and then Aldana catching her cleaner, shorter boxing, fundamental boxing. But yeah, I forgot what I was about to say. But anyway, yeah, I think she could catch. Best way to win. I mean, her only way to win is by in the distance. I think Nunes going to sub. If Aldana does somehow win, does pull off upset, it's going to be by KO. I think in my opinion, I think she's going to go out there and beat her for 5 rounds, or go out there and drop her or something like that, and just coast it to a decision. I think it's going to be like a Aldana. If she wins, it's going to be by knockout. If Nunes wins, it's going to be most likely by sub. But Nunes can win in the distance. I mean, Nunes can win by knockout as well. So maybe just a general. Matter of fact, you're going to go for Aldana. Just go for all of it. Just go Aldana KO probably. Yeah, you're going to get a good value there. Nunes, I would say, yeah, Nunes in the distance. Like I said, maybe put a little like Nunes. I mean, Aldana KO probably gonna be like plus 900, maybe plus 1,000 or something by the time of the fight. Especially if more people just start talking about it, and then then it's gonna rise up. So Nunes in the distance. Maybe you Nunes be both will be good plays, and both will have good value. And hedge with like Aldana KO, because Aldana definitely ain't subbing Nunes. But hey, crazier things have happened. But Aldana ain't getting the sub on her side. So yeah, Aldana KO is the hedge. This little hedge, just a little small hedge, because she's gonna have a good value. And then good value would be on Nunes in the distance, or Nunes sub, or both of those. Make a play on both of those, and both of those should hit. I don't think Nunes gonna go out there. It's not like but she did to take Jermaine Durandamy to the decision. I think Durandamy has better grappling than Aldana, or at least what Aldana has shown. Aldana has definitely had a tendency to be bullied. That's been a weakness of hers. And she ain't getting any younger, so Nunes should be a good out in the distance. But am I saying this is a max bet? I'm definitely not saying that because I could definitely see a case where Nunes to go out there, play with her food, or just go out there, just look to maybe get like a little bit worried about the striking and just use her energy, the rest of the energy, just to hold her down instead of like actually be confident out there. Because we have seen that against the enemy where she just literally kind of didn't really go for the finish as much as she could have, or some other fights she should go with it, go for kill all she could have. Seen her take fighters further in the fight than she should have. And she didn't I feel like she should have finished Pina in the second fight, didn't finish her. But Pina is a dog. But like I said, a decision is definitely on the table. But I'm definitely liking in the distance sub for Nunes. And I feel again, Aldana's only path to victory, I feel, is like a finish, like catching her by surprise or catching her loading up and knocking her out, which is definitely a possibility for Aldana. But again, with that getting up in age, actually being older than Nunes, not liking that as much, or not liking that really at all. But again, it's a hedge. Ain't that bad. But do you have the hedge? That's the thing. Do you feel like you need a hedge for this one? If you do, Aldana KO probably good hedge. You don't. You don't. Like I said, it's all up to how you feel. And I say, is it really necessary? That's for you to determine. For me, that's for me to determine, as I have not determined it yet. This is, again, first look is the video's title. First look, I don't know yet, but if I would to know, or I would just to generalize, then that would be the hedge I probably would go with, or I would most likely go with based off where I am mentally right now. If I were to go a hedge with this one, or would to do a hedge, it would be Irina Aldana KO. But yeah, that's the video. This is my picks for Aldana. Well, Nunes versus Aldana. I think UFC 289. This is the video. Thanks for watching. Well, not my picks. These are my first look. Me analyzing the card very generally, and looking how I would potentially play this card. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.